God for our great speaker, my president of my National Baptist Convention, Dr. Talbot. We want to thank you for that, and also my former president, President Stephen Thurston. We want to thank God for him. A lot of you don't know, Dr. Thurston came down for our October preaching series from Chicago, Illinois. And he turned around and came back, as we usually say, on his own dime to come be with us tonight. And that's an honor. We want to thank you for thinking enough of this occasion to be here. There's so many I could thank, but all I can say is thank you. And I hope that it goes out in a great way. I'm just so honored also to have three great men of this city who served as our honorary chairpersons. Brother Troy Smith, you heard from. Let's give him some love. And our great mayor, Mayor Turner, we want to thank God for him. And also one of our former mayors, a great friend of mine, Mayor Bill White. We want to thank. I don't know where he's sitting. If you're here, Mayor White, will you stand? I don't know where you were. We saw you at the reception. Amen. But anyway, we thank God for him coming at this time. And also I want to thank all the pastors who came, all the pastors where you stand, wherever you are, where you stand, pastoring churches. Let's give them some love. I want to thank a lot of my friend pastors who've come from out of state, along with Pastor Thurston and Dr. Talbot, my great friend from New York City, Dr. Carl Bruce. Why don't you wave at us, Dr. Bruce, all the way from New York. We thank God for him coming. And from Little Rock, Arkansas, Brother D.L. Richardson. Amen. Amen. And the pastor, one of my members know, was my great friend that God called in to be with him, Pastor David Featherstone from Little Rock, Arkansas. We're so happy to have him also with us. And I want to thank God. I don't have the time to thank everybody, but there's a gentleman and his wife who were with us when we organized 1968. September the 1st, 1968, in South Park area, Pastor Sylvester Duckins. I just want him to stand. He was with us at this time. Amen. We certainly thank God for he and Essie. Amen. I walked the late wife, Theola, we walked South Park and we talked to many home, Pastor Dixon, and they said, I'll be there. And we got all excited. There were going to be so many people, we're not going to have any room. And when we got there, 5 folks showed up. And from five adults and the children, their children. I see some of my children, their grandkids who were there. But you know the rest of the story. Amen. I just want to thank God for them. Now, there are some people, 3 persons that I know very well from birth that I just want to say again, I am so thankful and grateful to know them. And I had the blessing of buying their first diapers. Back in the day, they weren't called Pampers. They had diapers. Anybody in the house know about diapers? Amen. You had to have a washing machine to have diapers. All you need is a trash can now for Pampers. But these 3 persons are dear to my heart. We bought the first diaper, and they were the first that we disciplined, and they're the first that spent all of my money. And I just want to recognize them. They're so close to my heart. That's Alita, Ronnie, and Junior. Will you stand wherever you are? Amen. All right. I want to thank God for them for being the type of kids that they were. We always had children at our house. On Saturdays, on weekends, we had a house full of children, and our late wife would make sure that she had enough spaghettis and meatballs. And she cooked them, and we fed maybe about 20 other kids that spent the weekend with us. And we don't remember that. We don't forget that. And those memories will stay in our hearts, so thank you. Now, one thing I want to say that my life, and most of you know my life, you know, like I tell people now, there people know more about you than you know about yourself. And my life has had many seasons in it. There have been seasons of change in my life. And after 49 years and 8 months, God called my first wife to be with him, be present with the Lord, absent from the body. And as Junior's mentioned, we went through some trying times, but God landed us on our feet, and we're better. And about 2 years from ago, God gifted me with another person in my life at this season. Everybody have seasons. Amen. And I thank God for gifting me, and I just want her to come up. I just want her to come in and say hello. I want y'all to see my wife. Let me stop trying to beat around the bush. Amen. Amen. Come on. Amen. We're still on our 2-year honeymoon at this time. Amen. I just thank God for her. She's been a blessing to me, and I have deacons, brother Dixon. They always say that Representative Al Green. They say that I'm looking a lot better and dressing better since I married her. But I wanted them to know that I was looking this good before I knew her. Amen. And we just want to present her with something here. God bless you. I just wanted you to see my wife. That's it. Amen. Amen. We thank God. We do want you to pray for us that God will continue to bless us. Now, I want to recognize many who sponsored, and those of you who here, you paid, you bought your ticket, and we just want to thank you for what you've done. And I just want to acknowledge some of our sponsors. Number one, the Red Cross. And you give them some love, I call the name, the Red Cross. And we'd like to recognize Allegiance Bank.
All right.
Amen. We want to recognize KWWJ Radio. Amen. Allstate Insurance. Troy Professional Service, and Inspire Women of Houston. We want to thank them. I saw Anita Carmen somewhere around here. We thank God for all of you who helped sponsor this. And we didn't know how God was going to do it, but after 50 years, I learned something, that to trust in God. When you can't do what you can, all you can do, you have to ask the Lord to step in. So that is what we are compiling our book on. We did it the old-fashioned way, by faith. And this is how great St. Matthew has come through faith. I did not have mentors like younger pastors had now, but I had to learn on the ground. And I want to thank Greater St. Matthew because, like a doctor, I did my internship on you. We learned together. And speaking of doctor, I want y'all to know that I have one of my favorite doctors here today. He's my pulmonary doctor, and he and his lovely wife is here, Dr. Carl Dahlberg. We want you to stand. They're with us today. Amen. Now you all know that I was born an asthmatic, and I've had asthmatic traumas in my life, but since I met him, I'm doing pretty well now. So amen. So I brought him along today just in case I have symptoms, he can take care of it right quick. Yes, I am retired. I am I'll call it transitioning from one thing to another. I'm not quitting to go fishing. I'm transitioning to other work for the Lord. I thank God that without me knowing what he was doing when this boy was born in the 60s, still and I was in Texas Southern, he was born. I did not know it would develop into what it has now. My elder son, co-pastor Ronald Booker, will succeed me as January the 1. I can't see to those lights. We stand, Ronnie. Amen. Amen. I want his lovely wife to stand, Val. Amen. Amen. Now, after 50 years of pastoring, I just believe in my heart that Greater St. Matthew it's time for fresh ideas, fresh minds, and to take over. We tried to pour into Pastor Ronnie principles that God would have him to give me. Many of my principles I have came from my dad, as we would feed the hogs, and I'm an old country boy, and we would work, but Dad would always stop and give principles to me, and I didn't want to hear them represented because somehow through the Holy Spirit it stayed with me, and I've tried to instill in him. He's not going out there as just swinging it. We have worked with him for 5 or 6 years on this. This was planned. Paul said, I finished my course. And I'm not tired. The young man said, I'm no ways tired. I'm not tired, but I know when my course is finished. And after 50 years, 3 sermons a Sunday, President Thurston, I think it's a little more than 2,000 sermons that I have preached. We're not tired, but I try to let the Lord let me know when there's other things to do. I'm going to be a member of Greater St. Matthew, but I'll have a pastor. And I desire to work in the community development ministry of our church. We bought property, and we're going to build some homes for seniors. After January 1, Reverend Ronnie take over, I won't have to study for a sermon every week. And if I don't feel like going to 8 o'clock service, Bishop Dixon, I'll see him at 11 o'clock. But I'm going to be working with community development. It's in my heart, and building. We came from the rural, and I learned how to build pens and for animals and all of that. And I've tried to build lives, but now we're going back to building physical buildings so that people will have a place to live. We already have finished a 4-unit complex behind Jones High School. We thank God. And I don't know, they may not have the clipping, but next month we will begin pouring concrete for the houses couple of houses we have in South Park. It's my passion to develop South Park, and we tried to get property when it was a little cheaper than it is now. And we're going to be doing community building and during that time. So I will be busy. I'm not just forgetting about it, but I will be busy. Now, I just want you to know that I come to you and I leave this place just like I came. And one thing about it, I can't be anybody else but Gusta Booker. And I promise you one thing, can't nobody beat me being Gusta Booker.
Amen.
I didn't pastor to to get an Oscar. I never got an Oscar of being a pastor, but I tell our people at Greater St. Matthew that no matter what others may say, God keeps record. And when he grade me, one day I'm going to get my final grade. And I want at the end when he grade me, I hope there'll be a word at the end, well done. And I thank God for the time that I spent. I love you, and I've been asked if I miss it. I'm looking forward to other work for the Lord. There's a lot of other work to be done. So I just want to let you know I appreciate y'all coming. There's so much that I could say, but thank you for all of you all who've come out to be a blessing to me. All I don't want you to do is wake me up. I love this dream. And we thank you for coming. And I do want you to pray for my family, pray for my children, pray for me. And I've turned my age. Sometimes I feel my age, but sometimes I feel a lot younger than my age. So pray that I feel younger than my age on my driver's license. I don't know how long I'm going to be here, but I thank God that he's given me time to reflect and just take a break and watch other people. I've tried to develop our church where there'll always be a feeder, so we can keep on going. We keep on going, and God has blessed us this far. We don't have a lot of money, but we have a lot of faith, and just when we need it, God has always come to our rescue. So I want you to pray for Greater St. Matthew, pray for Jutland, and pray for Main Street. And we will be successful, and when we see God again, one day we'll see the Lord together. It doesn't matter where we came from. You've been a Catholic, Methodist, whatever you are, all we want to know is we're a child of God. And when we breathe our last breath, and when our years turn into months, and our months turn into days, and days turn into hours, and our hours turn into seconds, and our seconds turn in just point second. One day he's going to call us, and we're going to have a home, not built by man, eternals in the heaven. I don't know about you, but I know we always say we want to see our mama, we want to see our daddy. That's all right, I know they're there, but I just want to see Jesus, and I want to hear him say, well done. May God bless you, and may God keep you. I want to say one more thing. The committee that put this together, last year, right after our celebration, we called a meeting with the committee to plan this, and I want to thank them. Stephanie Collins, Kitty Basil, Herman Burroughs, Doug James, Avery Hunter worked with us, and I hope I'm not forgetting somebody. Garland Green, and who else? Eva, Josh, and the Lord. All right. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for all of our elected officers here who are here. We thank you for coming and being with us. I love you. And as Junior said, it ain't nothing you can do about it. God bless you.
Amen.